when I was just a boy, and that was some time ago, I used to stand up for people who were bullied, people who were pressured and were afraid, and many times tried to be bullied into a fight. I'd stand up for them. I'd take the fight for them. I'd see guys want to fight girls. I'd take the girls' place. I guess that's always been some part of it in me. I hate to see people being taken advantage of. And I know that some people are afraid, some people are scared, some people just don't have the skills. And I do know that there are people that take advantage of them rather than try to be a blessing to them in spite of all of this crazy stuff. But it seems to not happen. And when I saw and see people who violate what I was taught, it means something to me. See, I don't know how most people feel. I do know how they act. I can see that. But I was taught that there's a certain kind of conduct that would produce a certain kind of outcome. In other words, if you want a peace, they gotta have justice. If you don't have justice, there is no peace. So don't even think about peace. I mean, it's foolish to think about peace without justice. Who's the slave? Somebody. So if you want to have a satisfied life, it takes a certain type of outcome. Now, I've also taught that those desires for satisfied life usually is possessed by everyone. But as we know, people just don't have a satisfied life. And we think about all the things that happen that prevents the satisfied life for people. When we really think about it and we think about all the things that happens, we say the satisfied life is denied because people can't do the things that they want to do. They can't do what they need to do or what they desire to do. And they don't have the resources, access to the resources that give them the satisfaction that they don't have to worry about stuff. You know, to name a few of them would be the food. People are hungry all over the country, believe it or not. They don't have freedom. They don't have housing. They don't have access to real education or health care. And so many other things that they're missing. Yeah, many people do have them, but many people don't. And I was sitting there, I saw something on the news today, and I saw Elon Musk had a little baby on his shoulder, and he was saying something to the effect that they were possibly buying MSNBC or something like that. I'm not too certain, but I believe it was referencing something like that. And you know, when you got access to the media, you got access to what people think because you shape and mold them with the truth that you tell them or the propaganda that you tell them. And we can tell by the way Trump is going and all the way people of the Republican Party who are going with 2025 project. We see where that's going. It's against all of the things that we were taught was true about life. Now, not to say that we would actually do them, but at least we had a vision. We had been sighted at something. We were headed that way. We get off track and maybe sometimes be off a long time, but we still got a destination. But now we got a situation that's coming about where, knock all that aside, the bully is on the scene. And what you were doing and all that kind of stuff, what you thought was good and stuff like that, doesn't mean a darn thing to the bully. The bully is taking control, and Musk saying we got this, that was like laughing at the people, laughing at the public people. saying that we who got the money, we run things. We bought this country. We set this stuff up just like we wanted. We got it now. That's what I heard in the words that came out of his mouth. And I'm wondering that the American people hear this guy bragging about what money did. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you already do, that the guys with money say they got power. They think they got power because they can manipulate and rule us because they know they got us depending on money. But if you knew the truth, the power is not with them, the power is with you. Because you got the power to devalue every dollar they got. They're talking about cutting programs to affect you. They're not talking about cutting programs to affect, a program that would affect them to benefit anything. They're talking about the masses, the American people, cut their programs, make them suffer some for the cause. And this is how you get your black jobs back. You kick all these other people who come over here who working for change, and we make these black folks go back out there and work for change like it used to be. Let them work for change. And we can demand that if that's all they got, they will go back out there and work for change. And if they don't work for change, we'll do the same thing that we did to them before. That's what white folks are thinking. But the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, that won't bring you any peace. That won't bring you any happiness. That won't bring you any joy. So if these are the kind of things that you want, then you got to change the way you do things. You got to stop being greedy. You see, the dollar bill was not designed by God. And the purposes for which the dollar bill is used for is not designed by God. And what we as people think is not the truth. All we really think about is getting a dollar and we can go spend it. Sometimes it doesn't mean as much as it does at other times. But we don't worry about that. That's the worry of somebody else. All we want is a dollar in our hand. And as they manipulate the dollar, they change us to be anything. And we don't even know it because it becomes normal. Why? Everybody's doing it. Why? Because everybody wants and needs the dollar. Why? To live. But my friends, that is not the way God designed this thing to be, to bring you that satisfied life. They figured we get the money. And everything that they told you, all you got to do is look around you. You see hell bouncing up and down like any basketball game. All around us, straight up hell. Doesn't matter if you're white or black, Republican or Democrat, American or other. It's just purely hell. But God's way was for every individual on earth to engage themselves in the process of creating life for the life that they receive here on earth. In other words, everybody choose a career that you love, and you love it, love it, love it. It gives you your greatest joy. And with this comes your happiness. And here you get a chance to live your dreams. And all of the stuff that you've been imagining, that you have been designing as a people, considering what is essential for you, you are actually making them every day in such an abundance that no one has to suffer anything. See, that's God's way. God's way is that when you're doing it because you love it. But also, what you're doing is connected with what everyone else is doing, and you're actually creating heaven on earth. That's God. That's not old. See, that's God's way. And this man, like, look at Putin. He got to go bombing people trying to prove himself. Look at anybody that's fighting war and having a war and killing. All of that trying to prove something. When God has a little simple plan. And if the people know the truth, all they got to do is turn their back on the violence and turn toward the love of life and actually live here, right now. No more lying, no more cheating, no more stealing, no more hate, no more racism, no more bigotry. None of that stuff anymore. Live right here as though you are in heaven already. Yeah, but you really have to be born again to do something like that. Really, you have to be born again. And if you're not born again, fear is the boss of your life. Being born again requires the renewing of your mind. It actually requires not just words, it requires the action. And the action reflects just like the non-action reflects. Think about it.